you all in this exclusive webinar hosted by AceCloud in collaboration with Red Hat. The topic for today's discussion is Beyond Hyperscalers, how Red Hat and AceCloud are powering open cloud movement with enterprise-grade reliability at fraction of cost. As cloud adoption accelerates across industries, many organizations are rethinking their strategies to overcome challenges around scalability, flexibility, and cost optimization in today's session. We'll explore how the open cloud movement led by Red Hat and AceCloud is transforming the way enterprises build, scale, and secure their workloads while reducing dependencies on traditional hyperscalers. So let's get started with exciting conversation on how openness and innovation are reshaping the future of cloud computing. We'll start with Red Hat. Red Hat is global leader in open hybrid cloud technology, helping organizations build, deploy, and manage applications across hybrid and multi-cloud environment. With over 3 decades of innovation, Red Hat empowers businesses to accelerate digital transformation, improve efficiency, and deliver and drive scalable, future-ready IT solutions backed by a strong focus on open source innovation, customer success, and responsible growth. Now, joining us today from Red Hat is Mr. Saurabh Srivastav. He is Senior Specialist Solution Architect with over 18 years of experience across pre-sales, solution consulting, and cloud architecture. He has worked extensively on hybrid, private, public, and telco clouds, helping customers modernize infrastructure and accelerate cloud adoption. His expertise spans virtualization, containers, and software-defined technologies. In his current role, Saurabh partners with customers and sales team to design scalable, future-ready cloud solutions that drive business impact. Welcome, Saurabh. We are delighted to have you with us today.
You.
AceCloud is a trusted provider of dynamic cloud infrastructure, helping SMBs and enterprises design, deploy, and scale with confidence. With over 15 years of expertise, we deliver tailored cloud solutions that drive agility, efficiency, and secure growth. From virtualization to high performance computing, we support businesses across industries with end to end services built for the future. Joining us from AceCloud is Mr. Harvinder Singh, Chief Business Officer, AceCloud. He is seasoned technology leader with over 3 decades of experience driving enterprise transformation across global technology brands. He has held senior business leadership roles at EMC and HP, managing enterprise solutions across servers and storage. Over the past 8 years, he has spearheaded cloud sales for enterprise customers at NextGen, Cifi Technologies, and now leads a sales organization at AceCloud. With a deep understanding of macro technology trends, hybrid cloud adoption, and digital transformation journeys, Harvinder has worked closely with mid-sized and large enterprises to help them leverage cloud technologies for agility, scalability, and innovation. Welcome, Harvinder. We look forward to hearing your insights today.
Thank you.
With that, let's move into the discussion and hear from our speakers on how Red Hat and AceCloud are powering this open cloud movement. Would like to pass it on to Saurabh.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. First of all, thanks a lot for giving us the opportunity to present our solution to the audience. I hope the audience finds this webinar interesting, and I look forward to at least couple of you, thinking about migrating or going into our solution and thinking about switching from probably hyperscalers to AceCloud. Next slide, please. So now to begin with, most of us are aware, and I think almost everybody is aware about the hyperscalers, namely AWS, Azure, and GCP, and what they offer. And any enterprise, big or small company, SMEs, MSMEs, they want to run their workloads, be it VMs or containers, their applications in the end, either in an on-premise data center or in a hyperscaler or a cloud, essentially, to minimize their costs and make sure that they can scale very well. Now, herein comes the problem with our traditional hyperscaler. So, if you want to move into cloud and you're looking at a hyperscaler like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud, or Oracle Cloud, the biggest challenge is that you will see that they are very lucrative when you look at their offerings. You start off, it's so easy. You just migrate your workloads and you start running them. But as soon as you start scaling up, then you see that your budgets are going haywire. You see a lot of monthly billings are going up. You see that your costs are shooting what you thought, because you are comparing a capex to an opex model. You thought that a pay as you go model in a hyperscaler or in a cloud is cheaper because you don't have to invest in any data center, you don't have to invest in any software, you just start using it. But once you start scaling, you see that your costs are becoming unpredictable. You see your monthly use is going up, which started with, let's say, a couple of dollars per month, and now it has spiraled to pretty huge amount. And then once you start using hyperscalers, then you realize that, okay, I want this service, I want this add-on, and then the bill keeps adding up. Okay, as more services, in every hyperscaler, everything is a service, so you keep adding those services, your monthly bill, your fees starts going up. And then comes in the vendor locking. So if you are specific, there are specific services which have been created using specific vendors in a hyperscaler environment, and you are locked in. You cannot, you cannot have some kind of flexibility that I can. There is a certain flexibility, but not much. You cannot bring everything on your own, customized the way you like it. Compared to, let's say, if you had a customized cloud which allows you a lot of flexibility, or an on-premise solution. Now, when you start getting into integrations, that's another challenge. You want to integrate with something specific, but the cloud or the hyperscaler may or may not allow that. That reduces your control a lot in terms of both cost as well as your flexibility or agility. Now, that is a problem statement that we are focusing on this webinar. Now, coming to the solution part. Now the main points that I discussed in my last slide: vendor lock-in, cost savings, cost efficiency, and innovation. So I would just pick those 3 points and say, if you are looking at the open cloud movement where you want a cloud, but you still want your costs, your flexibility, and your innovation speed. So one is that you go with a full-fledged on-premise data center, which will affect your cost. And then there's a hyperscaler environment, which is expensive, and what we discussed in the last slide. Herein where you get something like AceCloud, which not only gives you a cloud environment, but it also gives you a lower TCO compared to, I will, let's say the slide says 50, 70, but let's say it's a number 30, 60, 50. But definitely over a long period of time, let's say you say 3 years, 5 years, you will see that your savings vis-a-vis, let's say, going to a hyperscaler, your total cost of ownership, your TCO and your ROI is much lesser. Your TCO is much lesser and your ROI is much higher when you consider a solution like Ace Cloud built using Red Hat OpenStack. It also gives you a lot of flexibility and sovereignty. So you have a open source model that has been utilized to build this cloud using Red Hat OpenStack, which is based on community OpenStack. It gives you the same kind of scale that hyperscaler gives, but with a lot more cost savings as well as a lot more flexibility. Then comes your third point, which is innovation, because you have the choice of bringing in a lot of other vendors, a lot of other things which a traditional hyperscaler may not allow. So therein comes the enterprise reliability. When you're looking for open cloud, but you also want innovation, you also want reliability, you also want flexibility as well as cost saving. So therein a mixture of Ace Cloud's agility and lower cost coupled with Red Hat OpenStack, which comes with the Red Hat ecosystem, gives you the best of all the breeds. You get everything at a much lower cost. Now, here comes in, let's say one part is cost, but you also want to innovate, you also want to optimize the IT that you have, you want to add more and more automation. Now, this is the flexibility that Ace Cloud along with Red Hat OpenStack gives you. You can add more and more self-service automation. You can build more things on top of your existing applications, not just run workloads. You want to have an end-to-end workflow. You want to customize your whole workflow management. You want to make sure your application deployment is agile. You can respond to workloads much faster. Your GTM is much better. So all those things coupled together This is what Red Hat OpenStack and AceCloud provide you, where you can balance your current, you optimize your current infrastructure as well as your applications, and then focus on add-on automation, self-service, and look towards the future, towards optimizing and growth. Now, here are some couple of case studies. So, what we have been talking about, the lower, total cost of ownership, and as well as the higher reliability. So, if you see here, these are a couple of case studies. We can, once you are interested in this, and we can have a one-to-one. I cannot share everything on a public webinar, but there are many more case studies. Some of them are focused only on decreasing TCO. So let's say for this example, Lotte, a South Korean giant, they reduced their total cost of ownership by 30%. And because they switched to Red Hat OpenStack, they also consumed a lot less power compared to their traditional systems. If you're looking for capacity for the same hardware, for the same money that you're spending, more capacity utilization, better optimization. You want to reduce your capex. So if you, let's say, move to Ace Cloud, you don't have to set up a private data center. You can move to a Ace Cloud like situation and still save on not spending on a lot, let's say, comparing to a hyperscaler. Same in terms of costs, as we already discussed. There are multiple case studies available, and we can talk about more of them, especially localized Indian customers. If you want to work on that, we can share those studies one to one, because a lot of customers are not, very happy about sharing publicly. But one to one, we can share more case studies, how we can help reduce your costs and give you more agility, more flexibility by switching from, let's say, a hyperscaler to a platform like Ace Cloud using the data OpenStack. What kind of use cases you can look forward to while using Ace Cloud and the data OpenStack? There are a multitude of use cases, not just running workloads. You can think of NFVs. Let's say you're trying to you are a telecom service provider. You want to, or a MVNO. You don't want to set up your own data center or a NOC. You can utilize Ace Cloud and Red Hat OpenStack to give that as a service, network function virtualization. You want to become a service provider yourself, but you don't want to spend. So you can utilize the services of, let's say, Ace Cloud and Red Hat OpenStack and start providing services to an end customer while getting the infra from Ace Cloud and Red Hat. You want to build a specific developer cloud, which is not production, which is only for your developers. You want a lower cost, not so critical workload that you want to run. You can use that as an option, starting a developer cloud or a testing cloud using Ace Cloud's hosting, and then just test your workloads there, and then probably go to something else in production. You want to run your AIML workloads, you want to run your HPC workloads, you can utilize Ace Cloud as well as OpenStack, and probably later on with containers that at OpenShift also, and start, building your applications, testing them, and then you are ready for the actual production workloads later on. Now let's come to why just OpenStack, why specifically OpenStack, I would say. When you want to achieve enterprise grade reliability vis-a-vis the hyperscalers, of course, hyperscalers give you that reliability, those SLAs that they are known for, and they charge for that. What if you can get the same thing or similar things with a much lower cost? How does OpenStack do that? So OpenStack gives you a high availability control plane as well as a data plane. All your core services, once you're running inside Red Hat OpenStack in, let's say, Ace Cloud or any other cloud which is based on Red Hat OpenStack, all your services, the design itself from the core is made sure that it is highly reliable, highly available, and in case of any event, any case of any failure, the design will take care of that. Now coming to the data plane, the resilient compute. So let's say there's a failure, a host failure, VM failure. OpenStack will automatically migrate your VMs just like a traditional hyperscaler to another. Let's say you're running AWS, you have a EC2 instance and it fails. AWS automatically recreates that if you have chosen that. Same way, a completely automated VM evacuation as well as restart of failhost is available in Red Hat OpenStack at a much lower cost and scale. So a lot of people will think, okay, I can start off with cloud and I can go with Red Hat OpenStack. But what about the scale, like which the hyperscalers provide? I can scale to a very large number in, let's say, AWS, Azure, or GCP. Similarly, you can do the same thing with OpenStack with proper planning, of course, with AceCloud and Red Hat OpenStack. You can scale to a very large number, just like a traditional hyperscaler. But of course, that would need some planning. But yes, there is no depth of scale available from Red Hat OpenStack. You can bring your own customized networking, which probably a hyperscaler will not allow. Most hyperscalers will not allow a customized SDN. It's a black box to you. You don't know what is going inside. You just configure and the network is running. How it is running inside, how the packets are getting transmitted, how visible is it to anyone else, you have no visibility. But with Red Hat OpenStack and AceCloud, you can do that. You can actually have visibility on the routes, on the how the network traffic is actually shaped, and you want to customize that, you get that flexibility with Red Hat OpenStack and AceCloud. Now, coming back to circling back to the point there where we started, the financial advantage, the total cost of ownership. How do you break it down when we keep saying 30%, 50%? How is it actually going to happen? So let's say hyperscaler cost, you give a pay per use VM. Once you start scaling, you see that you are adding more VMs and your billing is going up. Whereas in terms of, let's say, Ace Cloud and Red Hat OpenStack, once you have taken a certain number of hosts, you can create unlimited number of VMs on top of that. The billing, and even if you go with a pay as you go model, the per VM cost per month is actually much lower than if you compare it to an EC2 instance in, let's say, AWS or Azure or any other hyperscaler. Then there is no egress fees in terms of OpenStack or Ace Cloud. Let's say compare that to AWS. If you want to take out your data, you want to download your data, you want to share your data, you need to pay a lot of money to them. When you want to egress your data, you want to take out the data, download data, there's a lot of fees. There is no such thing with Red Hat OpenStack. So your CAPEX and OPEX both are highly predictable based on the subscription that Ace Cloud and Red Hat offer. You know exactly how much you will be paying. So there is no hidden fees, there is nothing like that. You know upfront, you can budget according to that. That okay, this will be my IT budget, this will be what I need to run my workloads on. There is, because Ace Cloud handles all the power, cooling, and everything, the infra itself, you don't have to worry about setting up your own data center. And vis-a-vis, if you add that cost compared to a hyperscaler, Ace Cloud will come out much lower in terms of cost if you compare to any other hyperscaler. I hope the attendees have a lot of questions that are coming in the chat, which will take up once the speakers are done. We'll take up all your questions. So I hope you guys will keep asking, or you have a lot of questions about what we are talking today. Now, coming to security part. So yes, cost is fine, flexibility is fine. What about security compared to a traditional hypervisor? How secure is running your applications on Red Hat OpenStack using Ace Cloud? So with OpenStack, I can assure you that security is not an add-on feature; it is built in. We start with security, infrastructure security, both for the VMs and the host. A lot of things get into the design itself to make sure that your cloud is secure. I cannot name a CSP, but recently there was an attack on a CSP which was running VMware as well as OpenStack. The VMware environment was attacked heavily. The OpenStack environment was completely secure because we had built that from the scratch and we made sure with policies, with a lot of other things. It's a customized effort, but of course, we made sure that there was no attack on the OpenStack environment. It was for a CSP here in Gurgaon itself. Then comes data integrity. So both at rest and on the fly, data is encrypted using Red Hat OpenStack and other storages which is cloud uses. You have data at rest as well as at on the fly, both are encrypted. So you can be highly sure about your data, that there will be no data integrity issues. Then FIPS compliance and FedRAMP guided remediation. So what if something goes wrong? So there is a FIPS compliance, Red Hat is compliant to that, and FedRAMP guidelines are always considered when you deploy OpenStack and AceCloud workloads. We make sure that all guidelines are followed and your data is or your workloads are absolutely secure as much as possible. Of course, there is nothing in this world that guarantees 100% security, but we will try to maximize that, take as high as possible, let's say 99.9%. And in case of any kind of breaches, how do you recover from that as fast as possible? In case of a disaster, how you can recover with the multi-side approach that Ace Cloud offers. So you can have a disaster recovery and your business operations will not be affected. You will have very good business continuity. Here we talk about so we were talking about flexibility and integration a lot. So here you can see there are so many, you choose any part of the ecosystem. We have so many trusted integrations available. You can pick and choose if you want. Let's say you want a specific networking from Cisco or Juniper or IBM, you can use that. Hardware, you get the flexibility. You want to build an AI/ML cloud with Ace Cloud and Red Hat, you can do that. There are specific vendors that you want to bring in. We can help you with that. And end-to-end management, that is what AS Cloud gives you. You can have a cloud up and running. You want to just import your workloads and be productive from day one. AS Cloud can help you that, and so will the ecosystem that Red Hat provides. Now I would like to hand over to Havinder for his side of things from how AS Cloud helps in what we have been discussing in this webinar.
Thank you, Saurabh. Thank you so much, and a wonderful, I think, exchange of thoughts from your side. I think you have articulated most of the challenges that today customers are facing, obviously with the hyperscalers and how the Red Hat OpenStack platform, which was earlier an alternative maybe, but I think now today open source and Red Hat platform is more or less becoming the foundation for a modern cloud infrastructure. So I think thanks for your keynote.
Now I would like to welcome Harvinder to present his slides.
Thanks, Akriti. So I think, Saurabh, first of all, thank you so much. As I said, you probably set the context of, the theme of the webinar itself. And I think very articulated and very reiterated, you reiterated the challenges, which we face, multiple factors in terms of the customer feedback, in terms of the challenges they are facing with the hyperscalers, and how the Red Hat OpenStack platform is leading from being an alternative to being a core foundation in setting up the modern cloud infrastructure. So I think what I would like to do is just to quickly give you a quick view to all the audience about real-time data services. Many of you probably would know us. We've been in operations since 2010, so it's been a 15 years plus successful journey. Starting our businesses from the US and created multiple brands using different technology areas in the last 15 years. And more than 750 plus happy customers. In fact, our your customer base is more than thousands. But overall, from an India-centric perspective, we have more than 700 plus customers, multiple awards in terms of different service areas and technologies, and we have a very strong team of 600 plus domain experts. We are headquartered out of Udyog Vihar in Gurgaon, where this core, team which comprises of our various functions, and a lot of it is our engineering and our DevOps teams and our obviously extended teams, whether it is sales, marketing. So we have a strong 600 place team, based out of the Gurgaon office. So underlying it obviously just talks about our three core brands. Obviously our managed application hosting and VDI services, which is the Ace Cloud hosting, Ace Phone, which is our cloud communications and telephony platform, and obviously Ace Cloud, which is the public cloud platform leveraging Red Hat OpenStack. All of this is under the single umbrella of real-time data services. This is how our journey has taken place very quickly. Obviously, as I just mentioned, we started with 2010, and we've had multiple milestones over the last 15 years. Whether it is setting up our cloud telephony services in the USA in 2012, then cloud hosting in 2015. Then in India, we started ServTel, which is in 2018, the cloud telephone services, which got rebranded as Ace Phone, where we have more than 1,000 plus customers. These are small and mid-sized customers which are leveraging our technology and our services. Over the years, we've also launched Ace Cloud, which got launched in 2022. So we have been successfully onboarded a lot of customers, and you can see on the slide in the last 3 years, I think it's been an amazing journey for us. And then, certain awards that we also got in 2024 and 25. So we have created a history of creating successful brands. Ace Cloud obviously is our latest initiative, and we are working closely, collaborating with Red Hat OpenStack in providing customers an alternative, which is a very macro trend today in the market in terms of the optimization that customers expect, specifically with respect to the hyperscale cloud adoption. So our vision and mission is very clear. We want to build a very strong platform. Ideally, we want to build a trusted and open, agile, OpenStack powered public cloud platform, which is eventually empowering the enterprises with a self-managed, high-performance cloud and self-provision. We want to offer the same user experience you would get as a customer, what you get on a hyperscale in terms of engaging with our platform, spinning off virtual machines in an instance, having the monitoring and alert notifications, having real-time performance analysis and insights on your inventory, on the health of your virtual machines or GPUs. And our mission is obviously to provide a future-ready public cloud platform that combines the infrastructure and specialized services like GPU, etc., self-service provisioning and enterprise-grade performance. And the larger objective is obviously to help customers optimize their cost, offering the same reliability and high performance as you would get on any hyperscale platform. So it is, I think, extremely important. While Saurabh has already set the context and in the backdrop of whatever Saurabh mentioned, right? I mean, some of it obviously is covered and could be repetitive in terms of some of the points that Saurabh covered. But one of the biggest challenges is that while the customers are continuing their digital transformation journey, I think what is absolutely clear is that cloud has become, central and pivot to how we innovate, scale, and deliver value faster. But over the last few years, we have definitely seen that there is a clear shift where customers who went all in on hyperscalers to start with are beginning to hit some real world problems. Now, these are forcing them actually to rethink their cloud strategy. Let us just quickly look at some of these. Obviously, Saurabh covered some of these, but cost, I think, is one of the biggest factor because as workloads increase and the data size starts to grow, I think the monthly bills we all know are hitting the roof, and customers this is the biggest pain point where the monthly bills are also growing exponentially. Optimization alone is not able to address this, and what is happening is the cloud economics is no longer friendly or working in their favor. So customers are forced to look at alternatives. Vendor lock-in, again, a point which Saurabh also reiterated, is that especially if you look at the hyperscale, a lot of mid-size and large customers also finding that they are getting locked into a single ecosystem. Everybody wants to create a hybrid and wants to have a flexibility to choose the right cloud. But what has happened is that if you've grown with the hyperscaler, their proprietary services and the APIs make it extremely difficult to migrate and make it very difficult for the customers for adopting a multi-cloud strategy. Opaque pricing model is a definite challenge and another concern because most of the customers are telling us that it is extremely hard and difficult to be able to forecast the cloud cost, accurately. Whether it is the data egress costs or the charges, whether it is the storage tiers or the performance-based, pricing, it is becoming very complex matrix to navigate, and the budgeting is becoming extremely difficult. Operational complexity is yet another challenge because managing an hyperscale environment is definitely not easy. You need deep technical resources, you need a dedicated team, and obviously it adds its own overhead and slows down your agility. Performance gap is again concerned because customers are shifting now from cloud first strategy to the right cloud strategy, which means that blindly you cannot put all your workloads, whether these are dynamic, static, or depending on the nature of the workload, on a single cloud. You have to look at what is the right cloud fitment and what is the right cloud form factor that you need to go in. It may even be a private cloud. It doesn't always have to be a public cloud. But a lot of customers are creating this, where they are looking at the application workload, they are going back on the whiteboard and then deciding what is the right cloud fitment, for their critical business applications. Support, needless to say, support from the hyperscalers is extremely difficult. It is a lot of concern which has been expressed by most of the customers. Obviously, there are managed service partners in front, but when it comes to directly from the public cloud service provider, support is a big concern that, is happening. So overall, while hyperscalers have played a huge role in advancing cloud adoption, I think the market is now clearly looking at alternatives that deliver high performance, flexibility, and cost predictability. I think these are some of the three critical parameters where customers are genuinely looking at alternatives without any trade-off. So at the backdrop of these rising challenges with the hyperscalers, we are seeing a very clear trends that are emerging in the market, and it is important to understand what are some of these emerging trends. Both these trends are both driven by business priority and also obviously technology maturity. First is obviously hybrid cloud adoption. I think we all understand that most of the customers today, I have been engaging with enterprise customers for the last 10 plus years specific to cloud. And cloud obviously has a journey in the last 10 years, and we've seen an exponential increase of cloud adoption in the last 3 to 5 years. Having said that, I think repatriation is again one of the strong sentiment that is expressed by mid-sized to large customers, where obviously because of the rising cost challenges, they are looking at how do I optimize my entire cloud leverage, which again makes you go back to the whiteboard and go micro into your application workload design, and obviously choose the right cloud form factor. This hybrid could be private plus public, and but most of the customers who have a cloud first strategy are moving to right cloud strategy, which means even if they want to be 100% on cloud, they want to have the flexibility and choice to decide which workloads do they want to put on which cloud. So I think hybrid is a clear market, macro trend which we are seeing with most of the customers. I think we have spoken obviously about the cost optimization, where I think that is one of the biggest drivers for the customers to look at alternatives. And it is not just the CIOs, it is the CFOs and even the CEOs. This is getting obviously discussed even in boards today, especially for those customers who have a huge spend for running their business on cloud. Open source, I think Saurabh has absolutely painted the picture in terms of how open source momentum is actually shifting from being an alternative earlier to being the foundation of creating a modern cloud infrastructure. The advantages, I think, have been reiterated, so I would not talk much about it. Data sovereignty and compliance is one of the bigger concerns because we all know that the data protection laws are tightening globally and also in our own country. Organizations are becoming extremely conscious about where they store their data, who has access to it. And this is pushing demand for local cloud service providers who have a local cloud and obviously sovereign cloud architecture, which gives them control along with compliance. Avoiding single vendor dependency is obviously linked to adopting a hybrid cloud because customers are wanting to take proactive steps to have a multi-hybrid cloud strategy. They want the freedom to choose to integrate and scale without, being tied up to any one single ecosystem. Workload placement, I already said, there is a growing focus on in terms of putting the right workload on the right cloud platform. And I think that is exactly where AceCloud and Red Hat together bring differentiated value to customers, combining the open source innovation with the enterprise grade performance and cost efficiency. This is just a view of some of the workloads which we can confidently run. We've had, performance testing with multiple customers and got an amazingly, positive feedback. We have customers who, in fact, are moving some of their workloads from AWS and Azure. Their biggest driver is obviously cost optimization, but we have successfully delivered POCs and test use cases where customers are running, not their, they are running their mission critical tier one workloads also. They are also looking at AceCloud and Red Hat OpenStack platform to run tier 2 workload consolidation. Sometimes what we have realized that if the customers have built their applications using native DevOps tools, on the marketplace of AWS or are supporting serverless architecture like Lambda and maybe some of these tools, right? Then it becomes probably even microservices, while some of these can be easily migrated, as Saurabh mentioned. Sometimes it is difficult to migrate, we understand, which is where I think the hybrid cloud adoption is playing a critical role, where a lot of your static workloads, tier 2 consolidation workloads, and even compute and memory intensive workloads can be confidently run on AceCloud, leveraging the Red Hat OpenStack platform. We obviously have also key platform services, managed database services as a platform offering, which is some of these are mentioned, MySQL, Postgres, Kubernetes. We have enabled all these services on our public cloud platform. We also have the entire range of the GPU workloads for AI/ML training, inferencing, rendering, simulation, etc. We have the entire range of the NVIDIA GPU workloads, and I think this is also one of the areas where we have successfully delivering services to a lot of software companies, AI/ML service providers, and also end customers who are experimenting and adopting AI/ML initiatives for obviously cost optimization, productivity increase, and various other factors. Backup and disaster recovery is again one of the service available from our platform, where we look at your business critical applications, we look at your recovery point and recovery time objectives, and obviously work with certain global technology players, whether it is Veeam or Commvault or Zerto or other tools. Depending on the need and depending on the RPO and the RTO, we offer tailored and customized DR services for our customers. So I think this is what we've covered mostly, but essentially, if I wear the hat of an end customer, obviously I need a cloud which is highly available, offers me almost very low latency, is able to give me a high performance cloud. So we obviously have the entire offering, which is with different flavors of virtual machines, whether these are compute or memory intensive, NVMe storage for block or high performance critical applications, and then the entire range of storage tiering, and obviously strong SLAs. So customers are obviously looking to optimize their cost, and today AceCloud with the engine of Red Hat OpenStack is confidently offering high performance, similar or even better what you might get in any of our other competitive clouds, and especially hyperscalers. A cloud which gives you high performance, which gives you the flexibility, which gives you the uptime, it gives you what you need at a much optimized infrastructure with seamless migration. We have our own professional services team, and obviously who are enabled and skilled to migrate your most critical workloads, whether these are containerized or even otherwise, on our public cloud platform at a far more lesser cost. So we have seen and we have delivered this to many customers who have moved from hyperscalers to us, delivering them a cost reduction of at least 40 to 50% if you look at a 3-year TCO period. So just a quick glimpse of our tailored solutions. So we obviously have the ability to help you create your own private clouds, on-prem or hosted in a third-party data center. A public cloud, obviously, as I said, we have a self-managed, self-provisioned public cloud platform orchestrated and powered by the Red Hat OpenStack platform. The entire compute and offerings, the GPU we already mentioned, Kubernetes, database, and the entire tiering, the cloud storage, whether it is block, file, object, we have enabled and provisioned it online on our public cloud platform. So from a public cloud platform, we offer entire range of the infrastructure as a service, some of the core platform services, and GPU as a service that we just talked about. So just to reiterate, this is how we approach our engagement with, irrespective of the size of the customer, but we first want to have an understanding of your critical workloads, because end of the day, the business is run on critical applications. IT is only an enabler, right? The role of IT is to provide a robust infrastructure to help you run your workloads eventually that powers your business. I mean, that's how it works. So we always understand the workload, the application requirements, the nature of the performance that is expected. According to that, we go into the design and build phase, where we look at the options in terms of the tailored virtual machines or platform services or whatever services need to be built, the layer of automation, etc. Then we create your solution and we help you migrate. We have a very strong professional services team, which has a project management organization which helps you put in the entire scope of work, and your planned risk mitigation, etc. And we help you seamlessly migrate, whether it is on-prem to cloud or it is from another cloud service provider, whether it is a hyperscaler or any other Indian cloud service provider. And then as a journey, we continue to look at your infrastructure, your utilization, your patterns, etc. And during our quarterly reviews with most of our mid-sized to large customers, we continue to optimize and offer our recommendations in terms of how do we further continue to optimize and innovate to help you get the most out of your investment. So what is difference with AceCloud? So I think where we are hosted, these are all global data centers, tier 4 data centers, 24 by 7 human support. Why this is important is that we, from day one, were very conscious and very clear that we want to build a strong ecosystem of delivering enterprise-grade support and services to our customers. So besides having a 24 by 7 human support, we have a very well-defined SOPs in terms of delivering high response and high resolution times, and obviously the high levels of uptime, which any customer would need if they run their business from your cloud. Unmetered bandwidth, you have access to unlimited bandwidth for seamless business operations. No vendor lock-in, obviously, if you are leveraging Red Hat OpenStack platform, it takes care of the challenges customers are facing, especially with respect to the hyperscalers. Cost optimization, I already mentioned, right? We are extremely well placed to help you run your workload. Specifically, if you compare your, billing with hyperscalers, we help you optimize at least by 40 to 50%. A high uptime and SLA in-house professional services team. What we are also adding a value to most of our customers, especially the larger customers, is we have started to offer technical account managers to them free of cost. Now, this is obviously comes with a carrot in the sense it is only for some of our large customers, where we continuously look at your existing infrastructure, your existing architecture, and help you optimize and innovate, and obviously help you in terms of the FinOps, and even help you further in terms how you can further optimize and bring your costs down. Just to reiterate that the cloud infrastructure that we build, essentially we work with the global technology players, whether it is for building the compute, because end of the day, to be able to offer a reliable infrastructure with high levels of uptime, we need to co-create our public cloud platform with some of the global technology players. So our storage, for example, is all NetApp, Quantum we leverage heavily, HP, Dell in terms of compute. So this is just to reiterate some of our critical ecosystem of strategic partners whom we work endlessly to offer, a high performance, seamless cloud ecosystem for your consumption. So this is at the end of it. I think the call to action is obviously, we want to help you in your digital transformation journey, and we are more than happy to engage with you. We are more than happy to offer you POCs. We are more than happy to offer you test and dev setups for you to come and experiment and experience our cloud. And obviously, once you're confident, once you see the same level of performance at a far more optimized cost, it gives you an increased and extended confidence to run your business and run your mission critical workloads on us.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you everyone for joining us.